Hello, this is Morgan. Morgan is a professional athlete that has very great heart health, but she is here for an annual cardiovascular checkup so that she can continue to play sports. So I am just going to do a few tests to make sure that her heart sounds great, that her blood pressure is fine, and that her heart rate is perfect. So the first test that we'll start with will be to listen to her heart sound. I'll use a stethoscope to listen to her heart. The sounds of her heart are really strong and good, and that's what you want to hear. If you hear any sort of like swishing or very soft beats or very hard beats, or like if it's really abnormal, then that could lead to complications. Some things that she could have would be like a heart murmur or like fibrillation, but her heart sounds great. The second test I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sphygmometer, which is a blood pressure cuff, and a stethoscope, and I'm going to check Morgan's blood pressure to make sure everything is going right. So I'm going to go to her left arm. I'm going to place the blood pressure cuff around her arm like this, really loose like that. You want to do the left arm because as the blood leaves the heart, it goes through out of the aorta to the left side of the body. And then I'm going to use a stethoscope, and I'm going to place it right under here so that I can hear the blood hitting each vessel as it goes through. So I'm going to increase the pressure to around 160, and then I'm going to slowly let it out. And then I won't be able to hear anything until it gets to a certain spot, and then I'll be able to hear strong beats, pulses, and that's whenever I know that's her systolic pressure, which is whenever the ventricles of her heart are contracting. And then it'll go a little further, and then I'll be able to hear a second beat. It's whenever it's really muffled, and that'll be her diastolic pressure, which is whenever her ventricles are relaxing. And this will be whenever, after I get both of those, then she'll be done, and that will get the blood pressure. So I'm going to start by increasing the pressure. So I got about 105 over 75, which that would be her systolic over diastolic, which is a really good reading for somebody that is very healthy and athletic. So the last thing we're going to do is going to be pretty easy. We're going to check her pulse. And so I am going to use a stethoscope to listen to her heart so I can hear the heart sound. It's called an apical radial pulse test, and so that will be the apical version of the test, and Morgan is going to find the pulse on her wrist right about there, and she's going to use 2 fingers and put it over there. It's where she can feel the heart rate or the pulse, and then we're going to set a timer for 60 seconds, and once it starts we're going to count each heartbeat in that 60 seconds, and then at the end the apical reading should be a little higher than the radial reading because it's obviously directly over the heart, and it takes a little while for it to get to the radial for the blood to pump through the vessels once it gets down towards the wrist. So we'll start 60 seconds and we'll see what we get. Like on your left arm. And then do it at the same time. Do you got it?
Okay, I just count it.
So we finished that, and I got 68 beats per minute, and she got 63, which is about right. If it was like, if anything less than 60 would be considered bradycardia, which would be really, really low, and that'd be very abnormal for somebody that like is older or doesn't do anything. But since she's an athlete, less than 60 would have been okay. But hers was like 68 and 65, so it was right there in the middle, and it was very good. If it was abnormally high, it would be like tachycardia, and that would be anything over 100. But she was great, so we finished our tests, and Morgan is healthy, and she can get back to playing. That's all.